Mark here again. Just finished the workout. Had a great workout on a scale of 1 to 10, high 90s. Yeah, it was that good. I really pushed myself today. I mean, I pushed it to the limit, and it feels great. But see, this is the balance, because there's days I get in here, if you guys follow any of my videos, you know, my workouts sometimes are like on a scale of 1 to 10, 5, 6, maybe even 4. So I'll stop at 4. I won't go below 4. It's never that bad. But 4 is bad. So, you know, today was really good though. So, whew. All right, so let's segue into it. What I want to talk about in terms of maturation, the maturation of a man, the maturation of a woman. This is just my opinion, you know, my 40-year experience on earth, and what I believe is required for us to have the optimal experience in life on our journey. When we are looking, and this is based off experience, like when we are looking for a mate, a partner, a spouse, whatever the case may be, we have to look. We've been all conditioned by Walt Disney World, all of us, just different degrees, but we've all been conditioned by Walt Disney World. From a female perspective, he's a knight in shining armor that's going to come in on some white horse, and you guys are going to ride off into the sunset happily ever after. BS. From a male perspective, you know, you got to be like Gaston, right? No one fights like Gaston. No one's tough like Gaston. You know, Gaston. You got to be Gaston. But that's all BS, right? Reality is this. When looking for a spouse or a mate or someone that you're going to... Look, here's the reality. Folks, life is going to bombard you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Life will bombard you. I don't care if you are born into money or if you're born into poverty. The difference is the degree of bombardment. If you're born into poverty, you're going to get bombarded on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe damn near 10. If you're born into money, you'll be bombarded maybe 5, 6, maybe even 7, maybe even 8. You never, that's the thing about life. It's unpredictable. It's mercurial. There's no way for you to determine the amount of bombardment you're going to get. All you can do is forecast and make estimates. So if you're born with a tablespoon, yes, your bombardment is going to be probably buffered by the tablespoon. If you're born with no spoon, yeah, you get ready to be hungry and work your way out. So life, as on an individual basis, is going to assail you. And the sooner we learn this, the better off we will be when the assailing begins. So when we venture out into the real world, out into the realm of reality, not living in your mom's house forever or in your mom's basement forever, not cleaving to the bird nest. When you finally go out into the real realm of reality, life is going to bombard you. It's going to beat you up. It is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, having said all of that, life is going to love you too, right? Because when you achieve things in life, you will gain some self-satisfactory. You will gain some feelings of achievement, of accomplishment. You know, life will also make you feel good at times. So it's a balancing act. But when looking to spend your life with someone and to build, you know, when you go into a relationship, it's a partnership, folks. Make no mistake, and it's about it. You marry someone, it's a business deal. That's why you have to get a license from the state before you marry. No different than you have to get a license from the state if you're going to start up a corporation, a sole prop, or any kind of articles of incorporation. You have to get that from the state, right? It has to be sanctioned, it has to be approved, and then you'll be taxed on it. Well, marriage is the same thing. You have to get a license from your state or your local municipality. So, you know, and you're taxed different, just like a corporation. So, and like any business, you have to make sure the person you're going into business with, right? Financial business with, right? You're going to be entrusting them with your money and vice versa. You guys are probably equally depositing a certain amount or proportion of finance into a venture. You have to make sure that that person is trustworthy, that that person has quality and substance, that God forbid, if not if, when entrepreneurial hardships or adversities come, that person you can rely, they'll make the right decisions, or they'll make the best decisions. Or even if they're wrong, you have an understanding of their character that, you know, even though they were wrong, they did their best. They made their best decision for for your money and their money and your business venture to be viable and to sustain. Although their decision might have failed, you know, you can trust that their decision was in the interest of the company and that the company survives, right? That's not easy to find in partnership. I think anyone who's done any kind of entrepreneurial endeavorments understand that concept. If you've worked at a cubicle, you know, punching a clock 9 to 5 for somebody, this conversation ain't for you. But if you're somebody who gets up and get out there and is has the entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurial spirit, you understand that everything I'm saying is facts. Because when your own money is at stake, when your own finances and your own capital is at risk, you know, if the business fails, you fail, right? So you are vested. You have a vested interest in the viability of this venture. When you have a vested interest, your psychology is totally different from someone who punches a clock and work at a desk for somebody else. Because they don't have to be responsible whether the company fails, whether the company succeeds. That's not their responsibility. Their responsibility is to punch that clock, punch in, punch out, and do whatever, you know, low-level tasks they're allotted. But if you are someone who has a vested interest in the success of that company, then you're going to be watching every single dollar. You're going to be very careful and pragmatic with everything, meaning hands-on with everything that is operating or functioning. So you want to make sure that whoever your partner is, that you're partnering up with, no two people are identical. No two people are exactly alike. But you want to make sure that you find someone who is responsible, who can make tough decisions, who is mature. That's the key word. If there's anything, there's maturity, a certain level of maturity. With maturity comes responsibility and everything else that's necessary for entrepreneurship. So you want to make sure the person is mature. When I say mature, meaning sophisticated, they're worldly wise, they understand the tricks and the trades, they understand the subtleties of business, and that goes for personal relationships as well, folks. If you're going to go into a personal relationship with anyone, whether it's marriage, dating, whatever, you want to look for substance. That's my takeaway. My 40-year experience this is just my experience. You don't have to agree with it. I've learned that it is more important to find a partner with substance, okay? With metal on the inside, right? And when I say metal, I mean the person has to have a certain make sure the person has a certain toughness, because as I said in the first minute, life is going to test the metal of your relationship, whether it is business or personal or otherwise. Life will test the metal, the steel, the fabric of what your relationship is woven, interwoven, and made and created and fashioned on. And if your partner, just like in a business, doesn't understand the dynamics meaning all the working parts, the moving parts, the kinetic parts that are what makes the relationship wheel spins smoothly, what keeps the wheels greased, oiled, and fluidity, so that the wheels can turn smoothly. If they don't understand that the sum total of each part is more important than each individual part alone. The sum total of the working parts is more important than each individual part. When life attacks you, you're going to crumble. The partnership is going to fail. The relationship is going to fail. Abort relationship, abort. That's what's going to be yelled. So this is my experience, what I've learned. It's no longer, this is maturation though, right? I got certain goals for 2019 that are Herculean, that are extremely going to be daunting. They're going to be difficult. And I understand that. And I understand the undertaking and what is necessary. And my experiences in life is that if you are ambitious, if you have aspirations, if you have goals, if you have no aims, no goals, and you're fine low level where you are, no one's going to problem. Nobody is going to critique you. No one's going to provoke you. That's fine. Look, I study zoology. Like I like to watch the animal planets, and I look at, you learn a lot from the animal planets. At least I do. I love the animal channel. I learn a lot. And I was studying and reading about the bees. And this is a very important lesson that I took away from it. In the beehive, where you have the bees, one bee is selected. A female at birth, baby bee, is selected to be a queen by all the other bees. When one queen is getting ready to die, they don't have a voting system. There's no, you know, they choose a baby bee, and what they do is they feed that baby bee something called royal jelly. Royal jelly is not honey. It's different. It's a particular type of honey, and it's created by the glands right above the bee's eyes. There's a gland that creates royal jelly. And that one baby bee is fed royal jelly from its inception, meaning its birth. No other bee eats royal honey except for this one baby bee. And the idea behind that is that by consuming this royal jelly, that one baby bee, its ovaries are dilated, right? It's expand, right? Dilation, right? It expands, it broadens, and that's the ovaries, so that queen bee can produce other bees so that the generations in the beehive and their population can continue. So that one bee is sanctified, it's fed something very particular, and it eats that one thing, and it's separated from all the other bees so that it can grow up to be a queen bee. Now, what's interesting though is all the other bees, they have a geometrical physiology. They have a very particular geometry in terms of their shape. They have to. They're called worker bees. All the other bees are called worker bees. And all they do is work. They labor. And because of this, their geometry, their shape is very particular to their task. They're very stumpy, stocky, and very thick. They're thick, staunch, and stumpy. And this is actually a part of their ecosystem. Like, go study it. This is real stuff. And they don't have, so they could never ever ascend to be a queen or any kind of authoritative figure in their population. Their only job and purpose is to work, and therefore their bodies are designed particularly for their task, which is just to work. I say all that to say, the lesson in that is, for you and I, if there's some people who are just meant to work for others, no different than all the other bees are just meant to be laborers. And then there's one bee meant to be a queen. Well, take that principle and expand it a little bit, and you'll get the lesson. It doesn't mean that just one person is going to make it amongst us humans. What it means, though, is that very few of us are going to be CEOs. Very few of us are going to be bosses. Very few of us are going to be owners of the means of production or the means of capital. Very few of us. The majority of us are going to be worker bees. We're going to punch clocks. We're going to say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And we're going to answer to an authoritative figure or a supervisor for the rest of our lives. That's nature, folks. That's not my opinion. That's not my sentiments and or views. That's how the world, that's how society, nature is designed. So the question you have to ask yourself is, which one are you going to be? You know, what are you going to be? No pun intended. Be what you're going to be. One is B-E-E, the other is B-E, the verb. Am, is, were. But you get my gist. So you have to ask yourself, which one are you going to be? The worker bee or the king, the exec, the CEO, the supervisor, the shot caller, the whatever. You got to decide for yourself what you want. So, and if you're going to be someone who is going to lead from the front and not from behind, and it doesn't mean you lead millions of people, whatever you're going to lead, your family, your one guy that worked for you, 2, 3, whatever. If you're going to be in some kind of position of authority, you have to understand the importance of having the right kind of partnership. Someone who's a visionary just like you, who can see over the horizon, who can see the forest from the trees, who can see the the end game, like in chess, who can see several moves ahead, who can protect, who can watch, who can spot when an element is trying to come in to destroy or to sabotage. It's important, folks. It's important because as the famous adage or the famous cliche is said, no man is an island, right? So till next time, folks, y'all know what I'm gonna be doing: cooking books, bringing informational meal, and sharing some of my views, because this is not necessarily academia. This is more like just my sentiments. All right, till next time, peace.